Have you ever stared at a blank page, wondering where your creativity went? Or have you ever wondered, where in the heck do I start? We've all been there, but today we're going to unlock your inner muse and we're going to turn those blank pages into a canvas of endless possibilities. So let's go. Hey, I am Michelle, and welcome to Scribe and Tell with Michelle, where we are going to explore everything writing related to inspire your storytelling journey. In today's video, we're going to uncover 7 powerful tips that will help you find inspiration for your writing. Whether you're a seasoned writer or you're just getting started, these strategies are designed to spark creativity and to get those words flowing. So grab your pen and let's go. Before we jump into the tips, let me share a little story with you about my own struggles with finding inspiration. A few years ago, I found myself in a rut and I was unable to write after the devastating loss of my brother. And I honestly thought I'd lost the love of writing altogether, but I never stopped thinking about it. But I just couldn't bring myself to sit down and, write. But then something happened that changed everything. While watching a movie with my husband, he brought up a story that he and I had started working on, which was a fantasy sci-fi. And then I opened up my Google Drive where I store my drafts and my ideas, and then bam, that inspiration just came flooding back as all the ideas that I'd ever jotted down were sitting right before me, coaxing me to show them some love. That moment actually propelled me back into writing, and it feels like I never stepped away. So let's see if we can help you find your inspiration or even understand your inspiration for writing. Tip number 1, explore different sources. Because inspiration is different for every person, the first tip is definitely to explore different sources. Inspiration can be found everywhere. It can be found in books and movies and art, music, or even just conversations with your friends. Just don't limit yourself to one medium. Keep your eyes and your ears open and you'll discover inspiration in the most unlikeliest of places. I've got personal examples for all of these. All right, so let's start with music. I have this playlist that I compiled years ago, and many of the songs spark my creativity because when I listen to them, they give me this adrenaline boost, right? That gets the creative juices just flowing. Certain movies do that to me as well, even if I'm not writing in that genre. So for example, I love me some Marvel movies. And every time I see one, I just want to jump on my laptop and start writing. The inspiration for writing my first book, though, came from reading other books. Even as a little girl, right? I wrote this teeny tiny book by hand. It was 1980, okay? I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a typewriter. I was 10 and I had school notebook paper. But I read so many of my mother's Harlequin romance and mystery novels. And that's actually how my passion for writing was born, just reading other books. But then even some art inspired me once before. I was attending this art exhibit with my high school daughter at the time. She was in high school and she was a part of this exhibit. And I saw a piece of art and I created a poem based off of that. So I guess creativity just inspires creativity. So try reading some books or listening to some music. See if that gets your writing mojo going. Tip number 2, embrace nature. If you're not inspired by books or other creative outlets, nature can be a writer's best friend. You can go for a walk, you can visit a botanical garden, or you can just simply sit by a lake. The tranquility of nature. It can actually spark creativity and offer fresh perspectives on your writing. See, it's all about observing the details, the rustling of some leaves, the flow of the water, the chirping of birds, and a gentle breeze. All of those things can spark creativity. Tip number 3, try creative exercises like free writing or mind mapping. Free writing lets your thoughts flow without judgment, without editing. Set a timer for about 10 minutes and write whatever comes to mind. Now, mind mapping, on the other hand, that helps you to visually organize your ideas and try to see connections that you might have missed. Okay, let's talk about both of these a little bit more in detail. Free writing is a writing technique that involves writing down thoughts quickly and continuously without worrying about structure, style, or grammar. So this is often used as a pre-writing technique to generate ideas and to collect thoughts early in the writing process. And it can be very, very helpful. I did this with The Bag Ladies of Evandale, the book that I'm about to release now, when I first started writing that book. In fact, I actually did it with my last book, which was Ruby Slippers. I literally used whatever was in front of me to write down ideas and thoughts and even chapters in some cases. I used notebook paper. I used typing paper. I used paper bags, notepads, napkins. I had scraps of paper and pages everywhere before I finally started typing those things out on the computer. Those were some wild times. But mind mapping, that involves writing down a central theme and thinking of new and related ideas which radiate out from the center. By focusing on key ideas written down in your own words and looking for connections between them, you can actually map knowledge in a way that will help you to better understand and retain that information. Now, I admit this is not something that I've used before, but it is something that I may try for another genre in the future. It sounds fun. Tip number 4, read widely. See, reading is probably one of the easiest ways to fuel your imagination. Read across different genres, styles, and even topics. All genres are not written equally, so pay attention to how authors construct their narratives, how they create their characters, how they build their world, and let their words inspire your own words. See, sometimes when I get stuck on my book's voice, and yes, books have a voice, I read, or sometimes I'll scan something from another author that writes in a similar genre or style. And believe it or not, that little sprinkle of inspiration actually helps. Tip number 5, change your environment. Sometimes all you need is a change of scenery. Rearrange your writing space, try writing in a different location, or switch up your daily routine. New environments can actually lead to new ideas and new perspectives. Now, hubby doesn't understand how I'm able to set up all over the house and write in different settings. He set up this cute, cozy little space for me in the lab. This is actually what we call our creative space. We call it the lab. And he was a little hot that I wouldn't just sit here and write all the time. He put all that energy and effort into setting it up for me. But that's because it doesn't always inspire me, right? There are moments when this space actually does the trick. But for the most part, I just prefer sitting in the TV room with the television on as background noise. But for you, just find that space, that setting that inspires you. Tip number 6, you want to set writing goals. Now, this has always been a personal challenge for me, but setting writing goals, it can give you direction and purpose, whether it's writing a certain number of words each day or just completing a chapter by the end of the week. Having goals can actually motivate you to keep pushing forward, even when inspiration seems elusive. And it actually boosts your confidence because when you're sticking to your writing goals and you're accomplishing those goals that you actually set for yourself, it makes you feel good about moving forward. Number 7, last, and it's definitely not least, you'll want to always stay curious. Ask questions. Explore the what ifs. What if I wrote this way? Or what if I told the story that way? Never stop learning, right? Because curiosity is the engine of creativity. The more you learn, the more ideas you can generate. Get out there on the internets and become a student of YouTube University. There are many new and interesting programs out there now that was not around when I first started writing back in 2000. Jesus, I just dated myself. Anyway, see, AI is a huge help for brainstorming. I use ChatGPT, but there are tons of other programs out there as well. And if you'd like to see a video on some of these programs, such as ChatGPT, let me know in the comments and I'll put something together for you. And there you have it. These are 7 tips to find your writing inspiration and ignite your creativity. And I hope these strategies help to motivate you to get started or help you to turn writer's block into a playground of ideas. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more writing tips and inspiration. Share in the comments where you find your inspiration. And let's just keep this conversation going because other people might find inspiration from your inspiration. Now, in my next video, we'll talk about building your plot for those of you who are delving into fiction. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification button to be alerted to videos as they drop, and happy writing.